Welcome along to More Than a Game podcast. This is the play-in pre-playoff edition. NBA playoffs around the corner. We've got the one and the only great Andre Moore. Thanks, man, for catching up again.
What's up? How you doing, Tim? Good to see you, buddy.
I'm doing very, very well, mate. So the play-in has started today. We've already had one game finish. I'm not sure.
Please don't give me the results, please. I got to record it.
Okay.
I'll get the results.
We've got the two Eastern Conference games today, so that's going to be very, very interesting. The first game, Charlotte against the Pacers.
That was the very first game. They made history, huh?
Yeah, the first game of the play-in between those two teams that were ranked 9th and 10th. So I'll let you. I'm not going to spoil that one. I'm not going to spoil that one.
Please do not.
The only thing I will say about that game is Karis LeVert didn't play, so he was actually out.
Okay.
Brogdon was back, and Sabonis was obviously playing as well. Charlotte didn't have Gordon Hayward, so he was out. But they did have LaMelo. They obviously had Rozier, PJ Washington. Had sort of their usual sort of players. The guy that loved you, the big dunker that you love, Miles Bridges.
Yeah. Hey, before we get started, though, it'd be remiss of me to not give respect, pay my respects and due to the original owners of the land that we gathered on here today. The indigenous people who inhabited this land, which happens to be my residence at the moment. I like to always give them respect, pay respect to them, because they were our four, I guess, I don't know, forefathers, but the original owners of this land. Yeah, so
I certainly want to pay respect to the original owners of the land.
Yeah.
Much respect. Washington and Boston, which is currently happening at the moment, actually. So that's going to be a very interesting game for you to watch that one.
Washington and Boston, you said?
Boston at home to Washington.
Okay.
As we speak. I won't say anything more, but it is in the fourth quarter at the moment. So.
All right. No Jaylen Brown. Now, what's at stake for these games as well? These two games played earlier.
That first game that I mentioned, the loser's out. They're gone.
Losers out. So okay, yeah. So someone's going fishing, as Chuck Broccoli, those guys said. Some players are going fishing now.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So the winner of this game that's on at the moment, Boston versus Washington, will become the 7th seed. So they will become the 7th seed, and they'll be playing the New Jersey Nets the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. So that's a lot at stake. And so both those teams are obviously vying for that particular series with the Brooklyn Nets. So that's a very interesting game. The loser's still in though. The loser of that game has to then play the winner of the Charlotte versus Indiana game.
So tell me this: do you think this whole format is a bit too convoluted, too confusing and complex for the average basketball fan? What's your thoughts?
I don't know if it's too convoluted. It's probably a little bit more simple than I actually figured it was. But I don't like it because what it actually means, when we're having a quick discussion about this the other day, the team basically only has to lose 2 games in a row and you're out. So if you're the 7th or the 8th seed and you lose 2 games in a row, you're out. So it's how I thought. So the Lakers, if they lose to Golden State and then they lose to the winner of Memphis versus San Antonio Spurs, they're out. So it's not really, and it's only one game. It's not like they play these multiple games. It's an all in one game situation. And that's what's really rolled up LeBron, I think.
Sort of an NCAA format, NCAA, one and done sort of thing,
Yeah, so that was that's quite interesting. That format. So I don't know. What do you think of the format? Having sort of explained it a bit, what is your feeling about those teams in those positions?
Well, now that you explained a little bit better in layman's terms, I find it a bit more easier, more palatable to my liking. I like the fact that we spoke about it yesterday that these teams, this format itself is giving more credence and more value to the end of the season, where teams usually tend to tank and sort of call it in, at the end. So this is giving some incentive to some of these teams in the lower brackets of the standings to play harder.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is the way some of these teams have sort of acted, and a lot of these coaches are running things a bit differently from one team to the next, Andre. Like if you look at how the way Tom Thibodeau has been running New York, he's sort of been running those players into the ground in a sense. They've been playing huge minutes.
That's always been his MO. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
So,
it may even contributed to Rose having so many injuries as well too. I dare say that would have some sort of factor when he was with the Bulls.
Yeah, going back in the day when you're talking about the Chicago Bulls days when Phibbs was the coach there, and
right, that's what I'm referring to.
So that's a very, very good point, that those injury contributions, so Phibbs these guys are playing big minutes. I mean, Julius Randle nearly 39 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Roland Barrett Jr. 37 minutes a game.
39. Julius, 39 minutes a game. Wow.
Yeah, and so the Knicks ended up with the 4th seed against Atlanta, so they're going to have home court advantage against the Hawks in the first round, and so that's what they've played for. They've played all season to get some home court advantage over the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
And they managed to get that. That's going to be a great series. Vegas has got Atlanta the favorite. Australia's got New York the favorite. Who do you reckon will win that?
Really? That's interesting. Wow. Yeah. And then there's a minimal amount of people that'll be in the stands, but those small amounts of people, I think they're only allowing people that have very good, strong vocal cords to come into the game, because you get crowds of 1,500 to 2,000 people that are allowed because of COVID restrictions, with their very loud sort of small group that are,
I think it's, what did we say? The Staples Center is like what percentage capacity? Like less than 10% or about 10%?
Less than 10, yeah, right around that percentage, yeah. These places are very cavernous places as well too, so it's good to have a few people in there. A few people in there. I'm sure they're mostly family members as well too, will probably be allowed, and everybody's still masked up as well too, from what I understand. Yeah, from what I can see as well. So it's I think we'll be out. I'm pretty optimistic we'll be out of this whole COVID sort of nightmare in the very near future. What do you think? Your thoughts?
It's a hard one because the Prime Minister Scott Morrison has basically said that international borders generally shut unless there's some bubbles that happen for the next 12 months. And that's a long time still. That's quite a long time. I mean, obviously you can go back to, if you're belong to another country, there's probably a way to get back there. But as far as letting people in willy-nilly for holidays, it's not happening for the next 12 months.
Yeah, compassionate sort of grounds, maybe.
Definitely. I mean, there's going to be compassionate grounds.
Right.
There's going to be other situations. People live in a different country, or whatever it might be. So it's a bit still a crazy world. We don't know. I mean, America's starting to open up a bit now. We've always had in Australia, from this time last year, even I think from as we're getting to sort of June, they had starting to get crowds last year. They were starting to get crowds back at the AFL games.
Right. NBL games have been fairly well attended as well too.
And NBL games, indoor games, there's no real COVID restrictions on those sort of games in recent times, is there?
Yeah. On that NBL note, can I please give a shout out to my good friend and former teammate, Robert Sibley, who just recently inducted to the Queensland Hall of Fame, and it also had his singlet number 52, the Baseline Bandit, hung up in the rafters at the Nissan Arena where the Bullets play at now. So shout out to Robert, congratulations, and very well deserved. We had a great time, being a part of it this past Saturday, and it was the Bullets did a great job of putting on a great ceremony for the great man, Robert. So shout out.
Definitely, what a career for Robert Sibley. It was great of you to be there in order to for that particular occasion, and that's quite amazing. Obviously, he would have been such a good teammate for you back in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah, he was my comrade in arms, man. We playing in the trenches against the big guys like Dave Simmons, Ben Simmons' dad, and Dave Colbert. He rest in peace, Dave Colbert. Playing against big guys like them, and Big Dean Utah and those guys. He was somebody I could go into the trenches with and really go, really control the paint with. So he was a great teammate.
There we go. So there's Robert Sibley. Bit about his career there. So started at 18 back in 1984 and played until 2003.
Yes, the second longest tenured Bullets player next to the one and only leaping Leroy Loggins. So yeah,
so he went to Melbourne for a couple of seasons, then he went back to Brisbane. So he was interesting sort of career there for sure. But he spent a lot of time there in Brisbane, which was good.
I said they debuted at age 18. I thought he was 17. He might have just turned 18.
Yeah, so 1984. You sort of came around 1990, so he was there for those 2 years. Your first 2 years.
Yeah, he was part of both of the championships in '85 and '87.
And 87. So they had some really good records there, 20-6, and
yeah, you got all his stats down there. He'll really appreciate that, seeing all this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's and you look at the consistency of the number of games played every year, 25, 30, right up to 97 there. So
represented Australia in '88 too. Is that listed on there? He represented Australia in Seoul Olympics in 1988.
Yeah, he would have been in his prime then. He would have been 23 or something, maybe around then. So yeah, he would have been quite good. But some good stats there. He sort of averaged 15 points a game in those years where you were around, 15 and 7. Stats there.
He was the ultimate team role player sort of guy.
Yeah.
Also great leader, great leadership skills, on and off the court.
Yeah.
And we're both Cancerians as well too. His birthday's I think the 10th of July. I'm the 2nd of July, so we always got along for that reason as well. I remember years ago our respective ladies put on a surprise party for both of us around the birthday times. That was really fond memories of that time. Both of those ladies are no longer our ladies anymore, but shout out to those ladies. They know who they are. We won't go there anymore.
Yes. So so the NBA playoffs. So after you've seen, what have you seen? What sort of surprised you about the NBA regular season, Andre?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah. Well, the emergence of LaMelo Ball, how he came on, and he started off, the coach was kind of, I don't blame him. His coach was had him on the bench early on because he was a bit, turnover prone and all that whatnot. But he just came on strong and became a real force. Then he got hurt, and now he's back in the league, playing again. So his emergence has been a really pleasant surprise. And it also gives credence to our league, the National Basketball League, because he played down here with Illa Ward, obviously.
Yeah.
We have a couple other guys now. Cam Oliver just went over for a 10-day contract for the Houston Rockets, and he's done pretty well. We got another guy on that Houston team. I forget his name. Played for Sydney, who's playing for the Houston Rockets now. He's
not Kevin Martin. No, not him.
No, he's like a little swing man. He's a real energy guy playing for Houston now. He played for Sydney just last year. And then we got Torrey Craig, who's doing a great job.
Getting some good stuff in the second place Phoenix Suns in the
yeah. And shout out to Monty, their coach Monty, who's just been named the coach of the year.
So has that been announced? Has it?
Yeah, it was the National Basketball Coaches Association.
Oh, okay. So not the official award or
league yet? Yeah,
but I think Quinn Snyder's done a really good job in Utah. I think he'd be one of my picks.
Yeah, Tibbs, and Monty.
Yeah, they're the three guys, and I also think in his first year as a head coach, I think he's done a fantastic job as well. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so the Phoenix Suns emergence as well is another big surprise, big pleasant surprise. I've always wanted that Phoenix, deep down that Phoenix franchise to do well, because they're one of the few elite franchises that haven't won a championship, with their wonderful history. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So first round they have to play either the Lakers or the Warriors. Whoever wins that game tomorrow, that will play the Suns in the first round.
Yeah, they're both winnable, series is for those guys the way they're playing.
And I think, I mean, if the Lakers, let's say the Lakers were the team to get through tomorrow, then I think the Lakers would go into that series as a favourites, don't you think?
Oh yeah, with a healthy AD and LeBron, LeBron James and the rest of the crew, they definitely be a full on favorite. But anything can happen.
Mm.
Anything can happen. Yeah.
Anything can happen. The Jazz, I mean, the Jazz have been the best team in the NBA pretty much, and they've done it without Donovan Mitchell down the stretch too. So, but I think he'd be ready for the playoffs.
Oh, he'll be ready for the playoffs. That's great to hear. Yeah.
And also Conley should be ready as well. So both those backcourt guys have missed a lot of games in the last, say, 5 or 6 weeks of the season. So
Right.
it'd be good for those guys, and they'll still be winning games with jingling Joe Ingles at point guard, and
Yeah.
he's been doing a really good. What a season that! I was on a podcast yesterday, and they said that Jingling Joe is their pick for the sixth man of the year. So.
Oh, he's right there. He's right there in the mix for that. Okay, yeah.
But it'll probably go to his teammate Clarkson, I reckon.
Oh, Clarkson, yeah. He's a hell of a player.
But I think they look at the two guys, and I'm not biased or anything, but I think they're probably right. I think Ingles has been a better overall player, but
Right.
Clarkson is just like a microwave Johnson, just a scorer off the bench. So two different types of players and two big components as to why those guys are going so well.
Right. Back to your question of surprises this year, this season, the New York Knicks, of course.
No one even expected the Knicks to make the playoffs. They've come in, as we said, fourth. They've really put a hammer down the stretch to get that position, as we said. I mean, they sort of came up through the ranks. They've really been on a roll. They've won, 7 out of the last 10 games.
Right.
A bit of a win streak.
Julius Randle, in particular, his game is really very, very entertaining to watch. The lefty, he's my favorite. He's my second favorite lefty at this moment. Next to,
when you look at their team, they're just a good team. There's not like, Julius Randle's definitely evolved as an all-star.
Whole team thing.
The whole team plays well together. I think he's coaching it really, really, really well.
He's big time in the middle, blocking shots. He got hurt.
Nerlens Noel has stepped in and done a pretty good job.
He played a major role, man. He had a major injury back when he was in Oklahoma a few years ago that he's bounced back from. And, I'm really happy for his progress as well too.
Yeah, because they missed Mitch Robinson quite a bit over the last half of the season.
Kind of old Mitch Robinson. He was a hell of a player. He was emerging really well. And the kid from Duke.
Yeah, who surprised me? Reggie Bullock has surprised me. He's really good.
Bullock. Yeah, the hairstyle they got going on was a bit questionable, but he's a hell of a player. Great shooter, great energy guy all around. But the kid from Duke, second pick, Zion's mate.
You're talking about Roland Barrett Jr.
Yes, the Canadian, yes.
I know he's been, as I said, Phibbs is playing him a lot of minutes, and he's probably not the best shooter in the world, but he's a good player.
Yeah. We need New York, teams like New York to do well, because that's a mecca, mecca of one of the mecca cities of the world, New York.
Yeah. So it's surprising for sure.
The league is there. That's where the league is based at. The National Basketball Association is based in New York.
Yeah.
So they need that they need that franchise to do well.
So if we have a look at the Sixers, they've ended up having the best record in the East. Joel Embiid is pretty close to the MVP. Really, not far off.
Joker's my guy. Joker's my vote. He gets my vote.
Yeah, Joker's got probably most people's votes, but I think Joel Embiid is right up there. I'd say you'd have to put him in the top, but maybe second.
Yeah, he's on the first team. He's first team all NBA for sure.
And people forget if we have a look at what's been happening in Milwaukee, they're looking like they're getting their stuff together. They've won 8 of their last 10 games coming into the season. Giannis wasn't really resting a lot. He's been playing a lot of these games.
Yeah.
Holiday's a huge improvement over whatever they had with Bledsoe last year. That's been a massive improvement. Middleton's always going to be good. So they're looking like a better team. and we're looking. Tell me about who. Make a prediction right here,
Okay.
right now. The Bucks versus the Heat in the first round, with the Bucks having the after what happened the last couple of seasons. Last year when Miami just rolled them in a way.
They have a psychological advantage over them because of what they did to them just last year in the bubble. Not too long, not even a year ago in the bubble. Knocking them off. So, and they're playing their best ball at the right time. Jimmy Butler's leading that squad. They're looking good. They're gonna.
Yeah, actually, sorry, the Heat have also won 8 out of the last 10, so they're coming in very hot as well. So I don't know. I've already laid some money down on Miami to win this series. I've already laid some of my money down on Miami.
Oh, Miami.
Better price than $3. So.
Yeah, Jimmy Jackson. Jimmy Butler's. Jimmy Buckets is just. He's just such a strong person.
And I don't know. To me, I think it's going to be a close series. Whatever happens, I think this is a close series. Yeah.
But the question marks, two biggest question marks in the league, two people in the league that have the biggest question marks are Giannis because of his playoff history as well as PG-13 in LA. I think those two guys have to really, to get the monkey off the back, the proverbial monkey off their back, they have to have a really good showing. It has to be the finals, or especially for the Clippers. They got so close to the finals last year, and then imploded, in that series.
I mean, if you look, this is what I'm thinking. What I'm seeing is it actually looks like it's harder. The players are actually, everyone seems to be better this year.
Everybody's better. Yeah.
So that's, even though I think when Milwaukee faced Miami, I'm pretty sure that was the second round last year. I can't remember, but pretty sure it was the second round. But now it's the first round, so it's it's a bit crazy. Now the Clippers have got the Mavericks in the first round.
Right.
So they obviously going to be fairly decent favourites to beat the Mavericks, I would think. But the Mavericks have done well to come fifth in the West.
Yeah, they had a good season.
This is tough. Luka and Porzingis has still played enough games for them to win 42 and lose 30. So they seem to be in a good spot at the moment. The Clippers probably like the matchup. What do you reckon?
Clippers. So the Clippers and who?
Dallas.
Clippers, Dallas. I'll give a slight edge to the Clippers. Yeah, on that one. What now is Ibaka? Is he back?
Yeah, he's just played the last game or two of the regular season.
Okay, yeah. So
he's back. Yeah. They've also got Boogie, but I'm not sure if he's going to get many minutes.
Yeah, Boogie looked good the few games I watched a few weeks ago. He looked pretty good.
Also, they've got playoff Rondo. They've got a lot of guards. They've got Reggie Jackson. They've got Patrick Beverly. So they've got all these guys.
Yeah, these teams have loaded up pretty well. These guys know what they're doing. These front office guys have loaded up these teams very well.
Yeah, so there's lots of guys that can actually step in there and play, and the Clippers will need that.
I'll go Clippers.
Now, what is this bit of a surprise here is the Nuggets against the Blazers. Now, the Nuggets are going to have the home court advantage, but this particular playoff series is favouring the Blazers.
Really?
And the reason for that is because the headmaster Jamal Murray he's obviously out.
Yeah, Jamal. Yeah, Mitchell.
That's an all-star caliber player that you're missing.
They picked up they picked up from Orlando.
Aaron Gordon.
So he's been okay. But someone else has been playing well for them as well.
Maga Porter Jr. is he's the all-star.
Right. Yeah. Porter Jr.
He's been allowed to shine.
Yes. He's come. He's a light. He's a guiding light there for them. So I'll probably go with I think the Joker's going to lead his troops on through that series, man.
I'd love it. The Joker. I'd love to see him beat the Blazers, who are coming in 8 out of the last 10 they've won. They beat the Lakers for that 6th spot. They beat them in a head-to-head matchup, and that was what basically got them that seed.
Yeah.
And it's an important seed because they come into that Nuggets series as not underdogs. They're sort of it's pretty even money.
Right.
So that's a very interesting one. I think it's hard to know how that's going to go until we see that matchup, because the backcourt of Lillard and McCollum is just, you can't. It's better than
explosive, very explosive. Yeah.
It's probably as good as Westbrook and Beal, I reckon.
Right.
It's a very good backcourt.
Yes.
So that's a bit about those playoff matchups. I look forward to seeing how it all unfolds. The Spurs versus the Grizzlies tomorrow. For the whoever loses is out. Not sure who I'd pick there. Grizzlies. It's actually in Memphis, so I think they might have a slight advantage. Memphis should have an advantage there.
So this Memphis has a home court in that. Okay.
Just whoever loses is out.
Yeah.
And the winner gets a second chance.
That'd probably be it's gonna be a really entertaining game to watch. We're watching Ja Morant, one of my favorite players.
He's back to where he should be at the moment. He's playing well. Yeah. The team is playing well. They made it to this far. The Warriors come into this game against the Lakers on a 6-game win streak.
Yeah, and then San Antonio has their star guy, ex-Toronto Raptors.
DeMar's playing.
DeRozan, man, he's a fun guy to watch as well. So that's gonna be a game to watch there.
And the Lakers Warriors game tomorrow. I can't wait to watch that. I'll have to see if I can tune in live on that one.
Yeah, I just got back from Woolies, local Woolies, and got me about 4 or 5 bags of sweet and salty popcorn. Get myself all loaded up for these games.
Yeah.
Got my popcorn, got my iced tea. I'm gonna be kicking back for the next couple of days. While my kids are with mom this week, they're back with me on Monday. So I'm kid free, and it'll be a hoop extravaganza.
You're talking about next week or
this week right here? Whatever games are available on tap, this week. Yeah.
So actually, as you know, I'm in Brisbane on Saturday. Actually, when I get there late on Saturday.
Yeah, it's great, man.
So,
Air New Zealand, you got coming or?
Sorry.
You'll be flying Air New Zealand or?
Yeah, they've got a direct flight from Queenstown to Brisbane, which is really good.
Queenstown to Queensland, huh?
Yeah, and mate, it's so confusing sometimes. I was at the ice rink this morning. I was talking to the guys who got there's an ice rink business here in town, right? They do ice hockey and all this other stuff. It's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's cool. It was a cool experience.
Right.
But these brothers, they were so interesting. I just basically did a podcast to find out about their story.
Yeah.
And it's quite good, man. And but what I kept doing is I kept calling Queenstown, Queensland.
Yeah.
You just get.
It's an understandable mistake, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, did that at least twice. I reckon it was. Yeah, it's one of those things that it just happens. But man. So so next week, the Valley Chamber of Commerce meet and mingle Thursday night. I think that's the 26th.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
So
I have to announce I have a basketball clinic happening during the school holidays.
So when did the school holidays start for you next?
Last week of May. Last week of June. Because my camps will be on the 29th. Let me see what days there. I got the 28th, 29th, and 30th right here. That's the flyer there. The flyer comes up.
Yeah, okay.
Get up there, yeah. When anyone wants to come along to that, you just locate me, give me a call. It'd be good to have as many kids as I can there. Teach the game that I love. Pass on the knowledge. It's all about each one teach one when it comes to anything that you've been able to be an expert in, not an expert, but very experienced in, so. So
the school holidays, it looks like the 25th of June until the 12th of July or thereabouts. So I think a couple of weeks there. Cool. I think that'll be pretty busy here in Queenstown too, which I think I'll be here in Queenstown for those 2 weeks. Snow season.
Yes.
We've had some snow on the mountains. It's been been quite good actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. How about some NBL? We're going to talk a little NBL action.
Yeah, let's have a look at the NBL. So I know that you said 9 teams obviously in the NBL, 4 teams make the playoffs.
Finals, yeah. I think
We've got Brisbane sort of have still got a chance.
yeah, they got a big game tonight against the Perth. They played them on Saturday during Robert's ceremony night, and just barely lost. But they have a chance to avenge that loss tonight. But they beat in between. They played the Kansas Taipans and beat them up in Kansas. The Perth Wildcats.
So there's some games coming up there.
Yeah, upcoming games.
The Bullets and the Wildcats. That's on tonight, 9:30.
Yeah,
that's here in Brisbane.
I've been actually watching more NBL than I have almost more NBA. I've been very intrigued by the league and the competitions. A lot of good talent, a lot of well-coached teams.
Yep.
He's been very well televised. The analysts have been great. My old former teammate Shane Hill and the great Andrew Gaze and all the other guys that have been doing the telecast have been doing an excellent job, in my opinion.
A lot of them, especially Shane Hill's a really good commentator. Definitely.
Yeah, all those guys.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the guys at Homicide Williams, bringing his very colorful antics to the foray when it comes to the analyst stuff. Yeah. So it's been really good. So this is the most recent ladder right here.
Yeah, this is a bit more of a colourful ladder than what I just had up. So you can see Perth are in 2nd spot, Brisbane in 6th, I think. Yep, 6th. And obviously these are the teams that are up there at the moment: Melbourne, Perth, Phoenix, and Sydney. But then Illawarra got the same record. Brisbane have played less games, but they can make up that difference.
Right.
So that's still in decent hunt, especially these teams here. I think these 3 teams, Sydney, Illawarra, and Brisbane, or any of those can make that 4th spot.
Yeah. Knock the Kings out of their fourth spot. So that makes it very, very interesting. The whole getting down. How many more games left? How many games left in the season?
Let's have a look. I think it must be getting toward the.
I don't think
I think it's 30. It might be. It's got to be pretty close to the end. It might be only 32.
Yeah.
Let me just have a look at these fixtures. So you're round 21. So you've only a couple of weeks left, really. So we're in round 19. So we've got 2 weeks to go.
Yeah. So this will be really.
So it must be 32. It must be about 32 games. I mean, I'm sure Brisbane have got a few games left.
Yeah. They got a few games at home. The next 3 or 4 games are at home. So.
That's the final. That's the final week there. So that's June 8th. It must finish. There you go. It's only 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
3 weeks away. Yeah.
Next year we'll be welcoming in our new team from Tasmania, the Jack Jumpers.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really good. Me and a couple of the guys are founding members of the Jack Jumpers in the TRSBA. But talking about TRSBA, you met one of my mates, Tom Hertz.
Yeah, shout out to Tom, man. Yeah, we had a great interview about Robert Sibley's Hall of Fame. Well, not Hall of Fame. His
retired jersey and
Tom. Yeah, he had a great talk the other day. And I didn't. It's small world. I didn't realize he was part of your TSRB. Tell us about the connection there again.
Yeah, so TRSBA. You probably know a little bit about the fantasy league. It's been going since I was at uni, and that's going back to when I was about 18 or 19. I'm 40s or something now.
Way back, yeah.
But Tom's probably been involved maybe 5 or 6 years, so probably not a long time, but compared to some of these other guys. But obviously other guys in the league knew of Tom.
Yes.
And they said, okay, well, this guy would be really good. And so Tom, used to write this column, the Downtown something column or something, with some basketball related column, and he was really good. And he's obviously does a bit of journalism with the NBL. So
Right.
he's got some good stuff going on for himself there. I've never met the guy in person, though. No,
Oh, never met him. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Tom though. If you it's a great.
I know he's
job.
based in Melbourne. I just haven't really, just the opportunity sort of hasn't sort of. I've met most of the guys in the league, but
Yeah.
but obviously we've done some Zoom meetings. And,
Right. And Tom's team came with runner-ups this year. You say, huh?
Well, as I said, what they did, the eventual champs,
Yeah.
the Death Valley Barbarians, they ended up. They won like 7 or 8 titles since the whole thing started. So they obviously they're like the Lakers of some dynasty you want to call who wins the most championships. But they Tom's team were 3-1 up in the series. They were 3 wins to 1 up against the Death Valley, and definitely have to win 3 in a row.
Like the 2016 Warriors Cavaliers series.
It did look like at one stage that Tom was going to upset that series, but what ended up happening is I think at the right time they had Curry, Giannis, and Lillard all playing at the right time. So
okay.
Sometimes it comes down to luck. With, some of these players not in the game or whatever. You get to use their stats. So
right.
Time
is everything.
Yeah, no, we're going to probably get involved next season. We're going to look at getting involved with more of what we call a roto style category league. So that might be something you could probably get involved in. We're going to.
That might be linked. I might have to link up with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's a different way of thinking. You got to think about the way we sort of run the TRSBA. It's really a points league. So that means that it's points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks.
Okay.
Turnover. So
statistics.
So when you're looking at what that brings, everything worth 1 point, it really is heavily weighted to the guys that can score. So the guys that can score are going to be the best players. But we know in the NBA that's not always the case. So a category league, the way a category league works is you've got 9 categories. So you've got points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. You've also got free throw percentage. You've also got 3-pointers, and you've got field goal percentage.
All right.
So you've got those 3 extra categories, and to win, you've got to win rather than score it. It's okay if I win 5 out of those 9 categories, I win that game.
I see. I got you. Yeah.
But that's why guys like Miles Turner are absolutely fantastic in that style of format because they lead the NBA in blocks. So you've got them for blocks. There's your blocks covered.
Yeah.
You're going to win those block contests, which is one category.
Okay. Yeah, sounds really good.
You think about guys in a bit differently in that type of league. And guys like Luka aren't as good because they've got bad field goal percentage or there's something bad about their free throw percentage. It sort of brings their ratings down a bit. So the best player in the 9 category format, though, is the MVP, Joker. So he was the best player.
No surprises there, right?
No surprises. Number 2, not really a surprise, but guess who number 2 was in category?
A guard or a big man? A guard or a big man?
A guard.
The little light-eyed guy in Golden State.
Yep. Yeah, good field goal percentage, good free throw percentage.
Hell of a year this year.
Points, led the NBA in points as well.
Yeah, so he hit who was he? Oh, Beal. Him and Beal were going at it for the points lead scorer title, right?
Yeah.
Bradley, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Bradley, so Beal, great scorer. So that's interesting. It's a different format, but I think the Joker was pretty much he was the lead in the other format as well. But so it's an interesting one. We're going to, as we gear up for next season, we might try to see how we can sort of run our own sort of type of league with that one with some people that are interested, yourself and who some people from the TS. Yeah.
Moving away from that, James Harden. What's his status now?
He'll be playing this week. Yep, he'll be playing.
Play games.
Yep, he played. Didn't play the last game. Played the second last game.
How did he go? What kind of numbers he put up?
He came off the bench, I think, but he'll be fine. I think he'll be 100%. I think he'll be right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And he rested that last game. I think they played Durant in that last game, which is a little bit surprising because I don't know why you'd want to risk Durant in that last game of the season.
I know.
Those 3 good.
Got to pay the price, man.
Yeah, so those three guys, I can't wait to watch the Nets in that series against, it's either going to be Boston or Washington. So that's going to be a great series.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be interesting. Really gonna be a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
How they're going to be able to guard all those guys,
Yes. Intriguing matchups.
Yeah, very much so. What else have we got? So that's what else? So we've spoken a bit about the NBL.
Yeah.
Anything else that we wanted to cover off on, I guess?
I don't know. I got a very interesting call out of the blue today. Where some people from the Chicago sports writers who want to do a big Chicago sports writer who also has a radio show.
Yep.
Going to be interviewing me. Their Monday, which is our Sunday, and they're going to be talking about my career. Growing up in Chicago and my college days and all that. So I'm really excited about that. That'll only be telecast or broadcast in the Chicago region, and so I'm looking forward to that as well. I feel very honored to be someone be interested in my career at this point.
Mm. No, I'm looking forward to catching up with you in person next week. That's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll get the muster to catch up, right?
Yeah, and what about? I mean, I'm pretty available if you want to sort of look at times I'm available for any sort of in-person catch-up podcasts.
Yeah, we want to get Robert on as our first guest.
So at this stage, it depends on what time of the day suits. I'm just having a look here. Even next Tuesday, the 25th, there's lots of times I've got available.
Okay, we'll work out something. I'll get my people to talk to your people, to my people, and your people, and all our people will get together and talk to each other, and there'll be a lot of people talking to each other. They're gonna have a meeting about they'll have a meeting about when the next meeting is on.
Yeah, something like that. A bit New Zealandish by the sound of it. That's what bloody Jacinta Ardern had a press conference to advise the time when the bubble was going to open. Remember, so
type of stuff, man.
So it's one of those sort of things. But
right, but yeah, we'll work out some times, man.
Yeah, it's pretty available, but they could fill up pretty soon. So we better try to lock something in. If you can find out something by the weekend, that way
sure.
We'll try to lock it in. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to find somewhere. Just not Monday. Next week's no good, but there's a lot of other times in and around Tuesday to Friday morning that we'd be able to sort of work something out. So, but weekends are always good too, man. On Saturday, I'm pretty good. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it all depends what's going to suit you guys. And how's all your boys going? All your family going well there, Andre?
Yeah, we all go well. Yeah,
boys and so forth.
My son, the youngest, who I coach on Friday. Well, we train on Tuesdays and play on Fridays. He just arrived back from Melbourne. With his mother. They celebrated the end of Ramadan period.
Okay.
He's born Muslim, So shout out to all Muslim people and the Ramadan. It's called Eid, EID, the end of it. They have a big celebration, and I liken it to a combination of Easter and Christmas, and so as far as the magnitude of that celebration. So he's back here in Brisbane. We have our game on Friday night, and I got my kids ready to rock and roll.
Okay, well, that's been another episode of the More Than a Game podcast. It's been great to catch up. Really, as I said, look forward to seeing you next week. And it's been a while since we caught up in person. So I look forward.
Same here. And shout out to everybody out there who's actually watched this podcast.
Last time we did one of these, I think it got over 50 views. So there are people that watch it. So.
Yeah. So it's all good. Doesn't matter as long as we get to get our little banter going. It's good.
Exactly, mate. No, thanks for your time, and I better keep going. But
thank you
very much.
All right, take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
See you later, man.